Well, it's been a while, but I'm back and thankful to be here on Patriot Focus here on this 5th day of February. It's already the 5th day of February. We've had a lot of craziness go on. Principal Andy Hare is here, and as mentioned when you came in earlier today into the building, the students have had plenty of time off because of the snow. You don't get time off, do you?
No, I typically don't. I'm a 12-month contract, and so that means, I get to work every day. Now, this time, because Monday was so bad, Monday and Tuesday were still horrible. They did give the 12-month people off, but I still went in, just check up on things, making sure the school was okay, and everything was. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I can get a lot done. There's very little distractions there.
Uh-huh.
But we still get to work. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's fun, especially when there's nobody around. We've had around the radio station, we've had a couple of days here recently with everybody gone after 2 o'clock, and that allows me to sit in my office and do basically whatever I want to do.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I can get work done without other distractions. So I understand completely how having the building empty is very, very much a help.
It does help, and you get to those things that you've had on your mind to do for a long, long time, and you finally get to it. The problem with me is remembering that I wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the old noggin up there isn't recalling like it used to.
Yeah, I have to write down so many things. I have a planner. I still have a paper planner. And I write down what I have to do every single day in it. And if there's something special coming, I'll write it down. Or if I know it's coming ahead of time, like a couple of things I wrote down today, got them put over there. So that's pretty much how I keep track of everything. Just keep a list. And especially with ball games being changed around, which we've had to do because of...
Oh, we've rescheduled a lot, yeah.
All of the snow. And we had the Elizabethton game. That was played. That was the Elizabethton home game. And that was played Thursday last week, I guess it was.
Thursday, that's correct, yeah.
And, we missed that game, and that's because I was sick, basically. And Andy said I was on assignment, but basically I was getting better from an upper respiratory infection. And you can probably hear a little bit still in my voice. I'm not at full song at the moment, but glad to be back.
Well, I'm glad to have you back, too, and I guarantee you the listeners are, too, after hearing me do my feeble attempt to do your job last week. It was terrible. And so thank you. I'm glad you're back.
And we were able to debut something we have talked about for a while, actually, starting to record some segments over at the school. We're going to do that, a couple of segments for today's show, too. And we're going to talk about some robotics coming up. And we've got a couple of students and telling about how that's going to happen, a big event coming up, too.
Huge event. Now, we're easing into it this weekend. Hopefully, weather permitting, we're still scheduled to host our own event, first time we've ever hosted one. We're having to do it at the middle school because that's kind of headquarters for robotics, the work that Miss Trent does. Right now, we're tentatively scheduled to do that, and then the following week, the bots at Bristol, which has turned into a global event. And you'll hear all about that. There's the literal thousands of people from all over the world that will be here. And what an asset that is to our community, our region. And it all started with just, a passion and a dream that somebody had, and shows them what hard work, what it can get you.
It all started at one of my favorite places, Holston Valley Middle School.
Great place.
I absolutely adored that place. I went there for 3 years. My first year, I was spelling bee champion with my two best friends.
Isn't that awesome?
I was 6th grade. They were 7th and 8th grade. So
are you still a good speller?
I ain't as good as I once was, as Toby Keith said.
Well, I love the auditorium there. I always loved going in there and the old gym.
I love the gym. I get to vote in the gym, and that is it's so much fun walking back in there because of just having gym class there and Coach Chambers.
Yep.
And we were shooting basketball and playing kickball in there and all that stuff. I will never forget, we were playing kickball. All of the guys would go first, and then the girls would be up. So one of them stepped up, and all of the boys on the other team were like, everybody come in, everybody come in. So what happened, they rolled the ball to her. She chips it off the glass into the goal for home run.
Oh, wow.
And I said, that'll show y'all to do something like that.
Uh-huh.
And she's running around the bases. I'm like, yes.
That's
awesome.
Cool.
That's one of my favorite memories in that gym was that. And I hit a three-pointer at the buzzer at the end of gym class once. That was pretty cool. I think that was all 3 points I ever scored in gym class. But
those were 3 big ones.
Yeah.
You remember them, and that shows how important these experiences are when you're in school. They last with you forever.
Absolutely. We're going to have more of Patriot Focus coming up. Later on, we've got the Braves Clubhouse Report that's coming up right after we're done. And then the Nashville Predators playing the Washington Capitals as they get their last couple of games in before they go on their Olympic break. So we'll have Predators hockey coming up tonight at 7 here on 790 The Fan. More of Patriot Focus after this.
Today we are so honored to have Margaret Trent with us, and Miss Trent is at East Middle, but she is also known all over this world, literally, for what she does in the world of robotics. Margaret, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Hey, talk to me about your journey. What led you to this point where you're at today?
So 9 years ago at Holston Valley Middle School, one of my co-workers asked if I'd be interested in doing robotics there as an after-school program. We had dabbled a little bit with Lego robots, which are very different than what we do now. And I said, sure, share the information with me, and he did. And so we started a 2 robotic team program there, and then at the end of the season, he left me. And said, you'll take it over. And so the problem with robotics is a wonderful problem to have, but it's expensive. And so we had to try and find a way to bring funding in for a non-funded program. And to do that, we started looking at hosting tournaments. And that year, I got the parents together and said, hey, let's look into this. And we did. We hosted our first tournament. I think that was 2017 at Holston Valley, and then our program went over the course of 2 years at Holston Valley from 2 teams to 4. We moved in here in 2020. We went to 6 and then to 8, and then now we have 12 between this program and a feeder team from Bluff City Elementary.
That's fantastic. And so you never had this passion for robotics in the beginning. It's just like, okay, yeah, I'll try this, and then it's turned into this.
Yeah, I was a 6th grade math teacher. I taught math and world history in 6th grade. So I've always loved math. Math has always been what I wanted to teach.
Got it.
When we ended up transitioning from Holston Valley, when our schools blended, they approached me and asked me, hey, do you want to teach robotics all day? And I'm like, you know, math or play with robots? Let's see. And I decided to go ahead and go this path because it has a little bit of everything. It's not just math. It's math, science. There's and English. The kids do a lot of language arts, a lot of communication with the robotics process, talking to adults and other team members, and they build those speaking skills that a lot of kids struggle with.
And see, that's what's beautiful about it. It's not just about building a robot and programming it. It's about so much more than that. It's teaching confidence. It's helping other skills. How have you seen that improve with your students?
I have had students that struggled with reading and comprehension, that even had IEPs or were falling in our students that needed to have extra assistance with those skill sets. And we had students that have actually slowly worked themselves off of their individual education plans, out of the resource class, getting that actual reinforcement. Students that would stand in front of me the first day of school, try to talk to them about something and turn beet red, now can stand in front of complete strangers, adults, and interview about their robot, explaining the process of the engineer and design process, how they came up with their design and the steps that they went through to get there to program it and strategies they used for driving. And I think that is the one takeaway from this program that I like more than anything else, because I can remember being a 16-year-old going to my first job interview and feeling like I was just going to get sick at my stomach because I was so nervous, and being able to take those kids that didn't have the confidence to talk to someone else and teaching them that skill early. I mean, we've got kids in this program in 5th grade right now that are speaking to adults about their robots. And the goal is hopefully maybe we can get our other elementary schools involved too, but that's a huge, huge thing for kids to learn, how to stand up, shake hands, introduce itself confidently, and speak to another person.
What do you think about, I guess, not just with robotics, but just school and the opportunities kids have now that when you and I were in school, we didn't have these opportunities that help prepare us for things like your first job interview. We have these programs, and they're all geared towards making kids college and career ready. Are you shocked at how much emphasis is being put on that by society now with school?
I'm not, and I am in some aspects. My parents did not go to college. They graduated from high school and went into the workforce. And so it was as though in high school, I was put on that same path. And so going to college was something that I chose to do later on in life after I was married and had kids. And I'd always wanted to be a teacher. I've been teaching my little sister since she was in kindergarten, lined up with the stuffed animals. But I don't feel like the emphasis was placed as much for all students to try and focus on that career tech education as we do now. Like we still focused on graduation and we still focused on things like that, but it feels like we have more opportunity now for everybody compared to the way when we went to school, because we graduated together.
That's right.
Some of our students, if they were athletes or those kids that had those straight A kids got those scholarships, there wasn't as many opportunities available for other families. And we now have opportunities available for our low income families, our families that have parents and grandparents that never graduated from high school. Now we're seeing that first generation group of kids coming in now, and I think it's an amazing opportunity, and programs like what we have here and our CTE programs that are available in our high schools help guide that pathway to it.
It does, and this is that first step in that for our students, and it's amazing watching them go from here when they come up to us at East High, and then they just branch off into these other specific areas in CTE. It's really awesome. Now, I can't get over how this has just exploded. We're in an amazing room right now, a workshop, a laboratory, so to speak. And this is all because of your belief and your passion for it, because you saw what it did for kids. Are you shocked at how it's exploded?
You know, it's funny that you asked that question, because last night my husband and I were talking about where we started in a little bitty tiny room in Holston Valley to this small room I had here originally, to the blessing that we received with the grant that allowed us to have this beautiful space here. And to think that, you know, we were just looking a few years back at trying to host our first event, and now we have multiple events every year, and we actually we're doing a signature event at Bristol Motor Speedway that allows us to have teams. We have teams coming in from China, from the United Kingdom, from Canada, from all over the country and all over the world. So it's an amazing opportunity, and it's crazy how it's grown.
It is, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back after this here on Patriot Focus on 790 The Fan. We're back here on Patriot Focus on 790 The Fan, and we're continuing our conversation with Sullivan East Middle STEM teacher and robotics instructor Margaret Trent, and we were talking about the bots at Bristol when we left off, and in the process, we decided to pick up a couple more people here to talk with us about that. So, guys, tell us who you are.
My name is Brayden Bebber, and I'm a senior at Sullivan East High School.
My name is Kayleigh Sopsher. I'm a freshman from Sullivan East High School.
Brayden and Kayleigh, so are you all related or anything?
Yes, she's my sister.
First, but let's get this out of the way. What's it like going to school with your sibling?
I don't really see him as much, but driving, I don't know.
That's wonderful. So we've got an amazing event coming up next week, the Bots at Bristol. I'm going to let Ms. Trent talk to us a little bit about what that is, how it became, and how many people are involved.
So Bots at Bristol is a Vex Robotics signature event. It is different than a local event in that a local event qualifies teams for their state championship, and then teams from state level can then qualify for Worlds. The Bots at Bristol event bypasses state, and the two winning teams of the championship and the Excellence Award winners qualify directly for the World Championship, which is going to be in St. Louis, Missouri this year.
Awesome.
We have 112 high school teams with about 600 plus students and coaches going to be in the area. That doesn't count their family members that are coming to root them on. For middle school, we'll have about 300 to 400, and then we are actually doing our first ever VEX University level competition this year. We have 21 teams currently registered with probably about 100 people or more coming in to support that one. So that's very interesting and exciting to see. And this is our third year of doing it. Each year we have grown in our numbers and the types of tournaments that we're hosting.
I went last year and I walked in and I'm like, holy cow. It's huge. Absolutely huge. So, Brayden, let me ask you, what's it like competing in something where there are people from all over the world?
We went to a signature event in South Carolina, which was the same thing, but I think Miss Trent's is a lot bigger than the one we went in South Carolina, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but the networking opportunity and the opportunity to meet new people and, be able to compete at a high level is very good for outside work opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to help teach you how to communicate. And we talked about that in the last segment about that, and it gives you confidence. Yeah. Kayleigh, what about you? What's it like? Have you competed in this before?
Yes, I have. The one thing that I found interesting was the amount of people that was there, because it was the first year that I went, and it was very big because that was my first signature event. And there was a lot of people that I got to meet from all over the world and see how well they're competing and how well they are in their region.
Here's what I found out through this. They are great. They really are. But so are we. Mm-hmm. What are you looking forward to most about Bots at Bristol next week?
For my team, we're hoping to get our skill score up, but also the networking, more networking. Mm-hmm. So if we needed opportunities outside of high school, we can contact these, hopefully, future business leaders of our industry. Yeah.
What about you, Kayleigh? What are you looking forward to about this one?
Probably skills, obviously. That's our biggest thing, because that's more if you get high in the world or state, you can already qualify based off that main two people already qualifying. But we're building a new robot now, and we're hoping to get it ready for Bots at Bristol, but trying to see how it works and how well.
So you all work on this stuff even when we're not in school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're not in school, though, so how do we get to work on them?
Luckily, our teacher, Mr. Carr, lets us take his material home, and then Miss Trent also lets us come here all the time when we're not out in school. If the school board director says we can come, it's just great that Miss Trent's letting us use this awesome new space of hers that she got with the grant money.
What do you think, Kayleigh, about the direction this program has went? This is all you've known, is that it being at this size. Before, it was very, very small, and now look at it. What's it say to you as somebody who's get to experience this amazing interest and investment into this program?
Well, my sixth grade year, it was very small, like you said. It was competitive, but not as competitive as it is this year. And going into high school, I thought it would be really, really different. But it kind of really wasn't, because Ms. Trent obviously provides a lot for us, and so does Mr. Carr. But it's very interesting to how it is now.
It is. It's fascinating. So, Ms. Trent, I got to ask you, Bots at Bristol, third year, signature event. I mean, you go from here to the Worlds. This has to be inspirational to so many people to show if you believe it, you work hard enough, you can achieve whatever you set your mind to.
It is, because when we first came here, we had not had any teams qualify for the World's Level Championship. And since we've been in this building every year at the middle school level, we've had 3 or 4 teams qualify to compete at the World's level. Yeah. The interesting thing that I find about the signature events is because each state competes differently. They all have their own separate strategies. And so when the teams go to the world level to compete, they don't know what they're going up against. And so because our programs have grown so big, we wanted to give them the chance to see how other states are competing. So when they do go to Worlds, if they do make it to that level, they're prepared. And I look back on where we started, and I had a goal. I said, I want to go to Worlds at least once. And we continue to do that. And our high school program is getting to be more developed. As my program has gotten bigger, they're getting to be more developed. 2 of the teams have already qualified for state. And that's why they keep talking about their skills levels, because if they can get their skills score up, there are some teams have already qualified for Worlds. So if they can get scored high enough at state, then they may potentially, just off of that, qualify. Yeah. It's amazing to see how far we've grown, to see that the first year we did it, we had 64 teams blended with middle school and high school. Last year we split it, had 2 separate tournaments. We had middle school and for 2 days, high school came in on day 2, and then we split. We are transitioning this year over the course of 4 days to 3 events. Yeah. So to see that that's happening, and all the work that we do together between my school, Sullivan East High School, Sullivan Central, and Sullivan Heights, it's an amazing accomplishment.
It is, and something that gives us a lot of pride. You know, I say all the time, I can't hide my Patriot pride. Well, this is one of the reasons why. So I'm so thankful for you all. I'm so proud of you all. And people, if you want to come out and see this, tell us the dates and times and how they can do that.
Okay, so we will be at the Bristol Motor Speedway using their south building. It'll be on February 12th and 13th is high school. Doors open at 8 a.m. and we'll close at 6 to 6:30 each day. Middle school will start transitioning in on the 13th at around noon. They will compete on Friday the 13th and 14th. They should be done around 3 o'clock. VexU will start transitioning in around noon on the 14th, and they will compete on Sunday the 15th and should be done around 3 o'clock. And there's no admission. It is free of charge. Oh, wow. To anyone who wants to come and check it out. It's a lot of exciting robot fun.
We look forward to seeing our kids do great things there. I'm so proud of them. And, hey, this weekend, weather permitting, we've got an event here at Sullivan East Middle. Brayden, you want to talk about that real quick?
This is one of our local events that we're having. We have 3 more local events that we have besides the signature event, and this is our first high school put on tournament. It's supposed to be our first tournament for the high school, but due to the scheduling conflicts, it had to be moved here to the middle school. We're trying to get our skill score up and do certain things at this tournament so we can be better for Bots at Bristol.
Kayleigh, you're going to be part of the first ever high school tournament from Sullivan East. Is that exciting?
Yeah, it is.
I look forward to watching all the great things you all accomplish, not just in robotics, but in life. Thank you all for joining us and being part of Patriot Focus, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Trent, thank you so much, and thank you for inspiring so many.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, guys, you're listening to Patriot Focus here on 790 The Fan.
Welcome back to Patriot Focus here on 790 The Fan. One more segment to go. We've got this one in studio, and then we're going to go to the Braves Clubhouse Report, get you updated on everything going on with them. We are a couple of weeks away from the beginning of spring training for baseball, and we'll have all of the Braves action on Saturdays and Sundays for spring training. Cannot wait to bring baseball to you. We're going to have Sullivan East Baseball, too, starting March the 10th. That's the sign, Andy, of warmer weather.
You know what? I felt my blood pressure literally going down when you mentioned pitchers and catchers reporting and spring training. And because it's just a great time of year.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. So we'll be bringing some baseball to you, including the Clubhouse Report coming up right after Patriot Focus here on 790 The Fan.
We are joined in studio, like you said, with one of our assistant principals at East High School, Miss Michele Holly. Miss Holly, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad you're here. And tell us, who's Michele Holly? Tell us what brought you to where you're at today.
It started, believe it or not, 25 years ago. I started at Sullivan Central High School as a teacher and as a coach. Got my master's in administration and decided that I thought after I got out of some coaching that it'd be a good idea I thought administration would be a good way for me to transition the rest of my career. And so after getting out of coaching for about 15 years or so at Central High School, I started applying for administrative jobs and was blessed enough to go through many interviews. But again, the Lord knew where I was supposed to be, and that was at Sullivan East High School. Kind of a full circle moment. My mother actually graduated from Sullivan East High School.
That's so cool.
And so me being from Carter County, never dreamed that I would raise a family in Sullivan County, move there, and have been blessed enough to work there at Sullivan East, in Sullivan County this is my 26th year and my 11th year as an administrator at East. And I've had already a daughter graduate from Sullivan East High School, and I've got another daughter coming up next year to Sullivan East. So that's awesome. So it's kind of full circle with coming back to East High School.
What's it like being in the community that you're working in as an administrator? Do you think that helps how you approach your job?
I do. I lived in Carter County when I taught at Central. So I lived in Carter County, taught in Sullivan County, and it was a little bit of a disconnect. I would leave the job, and I didn't really see anybody until I went back to work or coached or whatever. But now that I live in the Sullivan East community, no matter where I go, I usually see one of our, students or run into somebody, or especially after having kids go through there, their friends, their parents. And so I'm pretty much connected all the time to something to do with East.
And your girls, Addison, who is at King University, plays basketball and flag football there, was involved in everything. And Kinsley, your youngest, is as well at the middle school. That keeps you active. It keeps you and your husband very busy, being at events and being involved in the community.
Yes.
And I do think that makes a huge difference.
It does. It does. It helps you build relationships, makes, I think, people more comfortable to approach you, and then just have regular, normal conversations that parents have, even students, come up to me. And, hey, you work at East, right? You're Kinsley's mom or you're Addison's mom. And that opens up, a different type of relationship with people.
I mean, it really does. They say the number one cause for a lot of the negative emotional issues with teenagers today is not having one caring, trusting adult that they can go to outside of their family. And that's why I think having relationships like that makes a huge difference for our students at East, is they've got that because they know us.
Right.
Because they're classmates with our children. They've seen us since they were in elementary school. They know us, and it allows that comfort for them to come to us if they need us.
Yep, I agree totally. Yep.
Yeah, I worked as principal at David Crockett, and I lived in Piney Flats, and I used to think that was a good thing, and I always said if I ever do that again, I'm going to live where I'm the principal. And like you said, the Lord knows where we're supposed to be, and
Yep.
It made that happen. So you came to us, you were at Central, but prior to all of that, you played and went to what high school?
Cloudland High School.
That's
Yep,
right.
yep. I played basketball and softball there, and under Rick Anderson. From there, went to Johnson, what now is University, and played basketball and volleyball there for a couple of years, and then transferred to Milligan University now and played basketball there, and that's actually where I had class with you, Andy. That's kind of where
right.
we kind of started our
I love
start years
that.
and years ago. We didn't even realize we were going to be working together, did we?
See, I didn't even prep you for that, and I knew that would
Yep.
come up. That's a
Yep.
good thing.
Yep.
That was a great time. As a matter of fact, back then, they used to give us yearbooks. Mm-hmm. And I still have mine from my senior year, and I was looking at it and just looking. The crowds were huge back then.
Yep, we did. We had great crowds, yep. And all, like you playing baseball there, all the baseball guys would come over and watch us play, and we
Yeah.
would go watch you all play. And so between that and the fans of the community, we had great turnouts to our sporting events.
And it was there that we experienced the biggest snow I think this area's ever seen.
Yep.
You remember that?
I do. I remember actually my stepdad coming from Roan Mountain because we had lost power. We had taken a cold shower. We didn't have any food. And he literally, I don't know how many of the basketball girls piled into his truck, and he took us out Milligan Highway to get us some real food because we were freezing to death and starved to death.
I'll never forget
Yep.
that. It was the largest snow event I've ever experienced.
Yep.
They talk about the blizzard of 93 and 96. I remember the snow of January of 98.
I do too. I do too, very clearly.
It's just so cool that, we get to work together, and it is kind of neat
Yep.
to get to do that. But your role at East, now you're an assistant principal, and you do what in that role?
My main job is the schedule. I do all the master schedule for all the students at Sullivan East High School and all the teachers at Sullivan East High School. I do a schedule for the whole entire first semester, and then I have to do another whole entire schedule for the second semester. So that keeps me pretty busy. As I said, I'm already in full swing of the next school year's schedule
Yeah, I
right
know.
now.
It never ends.
No, it never ends. We get them started in January almost, and then I start building the schedule for the next school year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate that hard work. I appreciate what you do for us at East, and for me personally. You're a great friend and you're a great colleague. So thank you.
I think we make a great team.
I do too. It's a special place.
Yep, it is.
And I appreciate it. So thank you for coming on the show.
Anytime. Thank you.
You're listening to Patriot Focus here on 790 The Fan. Thanks to Miss Holly and Miss Trent and all the others on today's edition of Patriot Focus. A note for basketball, because we haven't talked about that yet. Patriots are scheduled to play Crockett on Friday, and that, as of this moment, is still going to happen. So we'll have coverage starting about 7:50 or so for the boys' game between Crockett and East. That will be on Friday. The Tennessee High game that was supposed to be on Tuesday, they've moved it to the 17th of February over at Viking Hall. So should we get everybody in place for that, we'll try to have coverage of that one too right before the district tournament starts on February the 20th. Coming up next, we have the Braves Clubhouse Report, so stay tuned to 790 The Fan.